The story begins with the protagonist reflecting on the world he is trying to survive in. His name is Shinomiya Hokage, and he is currently preparing for his exams. He believes that summer break will mark the beginning of his survival journey. He has conducted meticulous research and studied various books. In addition, he has participated in numerous tours. To achieve his dream, he knows he needs more hands-on experience. A paper ball strikes him, prompting him to turn around and notice that bullies are targeting him. He chooses to ignore them. In class, his ranking is low, yet perhaps due to his discipline, the bullying never becomes too harsh. He eventually falls asleep while wishing summer break would arrive soon. When he awakens, he finds himself in a completely different place. He assumes it is a dream, yet it feels far too real. He questions whether this is reality and checks his phone, only to find no signal or Wi-Fi, leaving him unable to call for help. He recalls the flare he carries, but decides to use it only when rescuers appear. He checks his pocket and notices his handkerchief is still wet. He realizes that he was transported here while sleeping. He searches through his bag and pulls out a knife. With excitement, he remarks that this is a chance to enjoy his survival life to the fullest. He quickly understands that staying calm is the correct choice, and his first priority is survival. He notices the sun is already up and understands that he must grasp his surroundings and locate a base. He studies the environment and deduces that the presence of animals means he can hunt for food. His instincts guide him well, leading him to a water source. The water appears clean enough to drink, but he refuses to take unnecessary risks. There are many ways to purify water, yet this is not the right time, as safety must come first. He takes out a bottle equipped with purification functions. He brought 3 of them in case of a shipwreck scenario. With this, he no longer worries about water. He finds the water delicious and assumes the taste improves because he is surrounded by nature. His next objective is to locate a cave to use as a base, allowing him to rely on a river nearby. After that, he needs a food source. For now, his only option consists of edible plants, and he wonders if a sea exists nearby. At that moment, he hears human voices. He moves to investigate and collides with a girl. Both of them scream, and other girls rush forward to protect her. One of them recognizes him as Hokage. As expected, he identifies them as the high-ranking group from his class, the same group that once threw erasers at him. Yuki Mana stands as their leader, and whenever she approaches him, the others tend to surround him. Next is Futagawa Eri, who maintains a neat and orderly demeanor. Nimi Karen has been in the same class as him for 3 years, yet he knows nothing about her private life. The last is Nikitama Arisa, who works at a karaoke place and shows interest in finding a sugar daddy. He gathered all this information during lunch breaks when they sat together and chatted. After all, observation remains an ironclad rule when it comes to survival. Eri explains that when they regained consciousness, they were lying on the ground. Arisa adds that she woke up in front of a cave and feels frightened by his ninja knife. Hokage responds that he is a survivalist. After all, Karen recalls that he is a survival enthusiast, mentioning that she once saw him reading a pamphlet. Mana speculates that if Hokage is here, then the other boys must be here as well. Karen proposes that it would be best for them to stay with Hokage. They all agree, and Mana announces that he will be their partner. He blushes slightly and admits that he has no objection, though he clarifies that he plans to go his own way. Arisa suddenly blurts out a question about whether ninjas lack sexual desires. He freezes at her abrupt remark. She wonders if men feel happy when surrounded by girls and claims she has heard that certain reactions occur. She questions whether he is the type who cannot rise to the occasion. He exhales and admits that he does have sexual desires. However, he reminds them that this is not the time for such matters. He outlines his plan to search for a sea, though he intends to guide them to the cave first. Arisa assumes he plans to write an SOS on the sand. He clarifies that he is only interested in seaweed and the ocean. He never expected to be conversing with these high-ranking girls. Arisa wonders if they are still in Japan. Eri speculates that they might be in Hokkaido. Karen counters that if that were true, their phones should still work, concluding that this must be an uninhabited island. Mana suggests they might be in the eastern region, but Karen disagrees, pointing out that they would still have signals if that were the case. Mana bumps into Hokage and warns him not to stop suddenly. He hushes her. They peer through the bushes together and notice a tiger occupying the cave. They question why a tiger is present, pointing out that such an animal should not exist in Japan. Hokage explains that this is not Japan, reasoning that even on an uninhabited island, they should still be able to detect some form of signal. He adds that along the way, he noticed traces of wild boars and chipmunks. Mana inquires what that implies, and Karen elaborates on Blackiston's line. Hokage concludes that the ecosystem here is unnatural. Mana presses further about their location. Hokage admits it sounds absurd, yet proposes that they are no longer on Earth and have arrived in another world. They are left speechless, and Mana snaps at him, questioning whether he has lost his mind. The tiger senses movement, forcing them to silence her immediately. Hokage continues, explaining that what makes the situation even stranger is how they arrived, as they were resting during lunch break before suddenly appearing here. Mana admits that the idea of another world still feels unrealistic. Hokage clarifies that it is merely his theory and lacks evidence. He advises that they should leave the area. He guides them toward the river. Arisa marvels at how prepared he is, but hesitates to drink, teasing that it would count as an indirect kiss despite them not dating. Hokage informs her that the bottle he offers isn't used. She finally drinks, and then urges Mana to have some as well. Arisa grows anxious and wonders if they will ever return home. Hokage explains that if this is truly another world, returning will be difficult, though it remains possible that this is still Earth. Karen questions whether there is any method to confirm they are in a different world. Hokage admits he does not know and adds that if they manage to escape the island, they may encounter a settlement. Mana enthusiastically urges everyone to hurry. Hokage confesses that he does not know which direction leads out. Her spirit falters once again. Hokage reassures them that they are not out of options, explaining that even without signal, they can still use their phone cameras by climbing a tree to take photographs. Arisa complains that she cannot climb and jokes that she is not a monkey. Hokage calmly responds that he can climb instead. She stares at him in disbelief. Hokage explains that his phone is outdated and lacks high-quality imaging, so he needs to capture photos from the highest point possible. Karen offers her selfie stick and explains how to use it. He swiftly climbs the tree, leaving the girls astonished. As he takes photos, he notices their expressions appear lighter and realizes their morale has improved. Mana suddenly spots something, and a monkey snatches the phone from Hokage. Everyone freezes in shock. The monkey leaps toward Mana and grabs her. She boasts that she possesses a skill that allows her to befriend animals. Hokage questions whether she is truly safe. Arisa panics and insists they must rescue her. Hokage lunges forward but accidentally grabs Mana's chest instead. He notices the monkey behind him, and Mana screams at him in frustration. She then reassures everyone that the monkey was merely playing. Hokage turns to Karen and asks her to confirm the images. She explains that there are no visible settlements. However, the attempt was not pointless, as Hokage managed to spot the sea. The group clusters around him, and Arisa suddenly jumps toward him, pointing out what appears to be an island in the photo. After adjusting the image, the shape becomes clear. Hokage realizes it truly is an island, and is surprised that Arisa noticed it first. Mana excitedly asks whether this is good news. Hokage confirms that it is. If the island is abandoned, there is still a chance that people live nearby, provided this is not another world. Their chances of rescue increase, and their spirits rise. They use the phone's built-in compass to determine the sea's direction. Arisa uses the knife to carve landmarks along the way. Mana questions whether marking the path is necessary when they have a compass. Hokage explains that it will be useful once the phone battery dies. Mana cannot believe he failed to bring an analog compass. Hokage admits he forgot. They laugh at him. While traveling, Eri approaches Hokage and gently inquires about his thoughts. He confesses that he wants to reclaim the cave. She questions whether he can defeat the tiger. Hokage admits he lacks combat skills and never intended to fight such a creature. Eri presses him on his plan. Hokage explains that they must scare the tiger away and make it fear them, or they will eventually be killed. She asks what they should do. Hokage admits he is still thinking and is unsure whether his idea will succeed. Eri praises him and urges him to inform her once he forms a plan. They finally reach the sea, and the girls burst with excitement, while Hokage also feels relieved. He reasons that where there is shellfish, there must be seaweed, and fishing is also possible. He reminds them that the sun is setting and they need to head back. They question where they are going. Hokage reveals they are returning to the cave and declares that they are going to confront the tiger. The girls freeze in shock.